Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. In previous tutorials, we talked about how do we find elements using Selenium Webdriver on a web page by using different locators. We also saw what are the prerequisites for finding elements. We have covered these 7 locators so far. The last one is left. Now in this tutorial, we will see how to locate element by XPath. So let's get started. Let's get into the code. I'm gonna bring up my PyCharm. I have already created a class named as find by XPath, and here I have initialized the web browser. As Chrome browser requires Chrome driver path, so I have saved the Chrome driver path in a variable and pass this variable while initializing the browser. Here I have added the Python website URL which I want to open. You can use any URL here. Here I have added a teardown function which will quit the browser at the end, and I have called the class here and then called the function which needs to be run, also called the teardown function here. Let's see how can we locate element by using XPath. Let's add comment here, find element by XPath. Let's locate element in DOM now. Right click here and click on inspect and select this option appearing at the top left, and now select the element. As you know, this text field is an element. Label, button, text field, all are elements of this web page. Selecting this element will highlight it under this DOM. You can see different attributes are associated with this text field element. ID, name, type, role, class, all are attributes, and we can choose any of them to build a XPath. Let's first see how to create a XPath. There are two types of XPaths, absolute XPath and the relative XPath. Absolute XPath is the one which uses complete path from the root element to the desired element. How to create absolute XPath? Let's see by an example. Okay. Here, root element is this HTML tag, and you can see hierarchy here, head, body, and under this body there is a div tag, another div tag, and then header again, and then another div tag, then form and span, and then input tag. Input tag which need to select is a child node of this field set because it's appearing under this field set. As you can see it here, expand it and then input tag is not appearing under this span tag because span tag is a child node of field set and sibling of this input tag. So input tag is a child node of this field set is a child node of this form tag, and form is a child node of this div tag, and this div tag is a child node of this div tag, and then another div tag here, and it's appearing this under header tag, and you can see here is a body tag. All these are the child nodes of this body tag. So we can create this hierarchy, and body tag here is appearing under this HTML tag. So let's write it here. To go down in the hierarchy, we use slash. So let's write absolute XPath. The first one is the HTML tag. Write it here. Slash to go down in the hierarchy, and here body tag, and you can see it's getting highlighted. Again slash, and write this div tag, slash, and then we can write this header tag, and under this header tag write div, again div, and again div and div. Okay, and now form tag, and see it's getting highlighted here, and then input tag here. Or I have missed one thing, field set, and then input tag. See, it's a complete hierarchy, and if we write this hierarchy in a path, it will create an absolute XPath. This is absolute XPath, and this absolute XPath is not recommended because it contains complete hierarchy: body, header, div, form, and field set, so on. And whenever there is any change in the HTML or any div is removed, then this XPath will not work and your script will get failed. This is why it is not recommended. Let's locate it. Copy. Now go to PyCharm, and here let's add variable find element by absolute XPath. So self dot let's add it here. Okay, driver dot find element by XPath, and add this absolute XPath here, and let's add condition here. If find element by absolute XPath is not none, then print able to find element by using absolute XPath. Okay, so let's run code. And see, it's working fine, and the statement is printed out here: able to find element by using absolute XPath. Let's see another type for creating XPaths, that is relative XPath. For relative XPath, you don't need to use a complete path. Just start by referencing the element you want and go from there. How to create relative XPath? Let's see by an example. Let's remove it, and here we don't need to pick the HTML and then body tag. we will access element directly. I will not look into the hierarchy what it is. So for to access the element directly, use double slash. And what's the difference between single slash and the double slash? Okay, single slash. Anywhere in the XPath to look for the element immediately inside the parent element. I'm using single slash in XPath because I'm going in hierarchy and picking up element which is immediate child node of parent. Look here, see, I'm using a single slash here, and because input is a direct child node of this field set, and this form is a immediate child node of this parent element. This is the div. And for double slash, look for any child or nested child element inside the parent element. For double slash, I'm not taking any parent node, I'm just picking element value directly. So by adding double slash, I have a direct access of that tag which I'm entering here. Okay, so see, double slash and then input, and you can see I'm able to access this element directly. I didn't add any parent node here. So to access the element directly, just add double slashes and then add the tag name. Here tag name is input, so I just added it here. Currently this web page has only one input tag, so we are able to find it, but different web pages can contain multiple tags with same name. So in this case we need to make it unique always. To make it unique, you can append any attribute. Here I'm using this ID. But the approach which I'm gonna use will be same for all other attributes. You can use any other attribute other than this ID. Now add square brackets. Write double slashes first, then input tag, then add square brackets, and inside this square bracket add at the rate sign, and along with this add attribute name which is ID, because I'm gonna use ID here. Then equals to, and add double quotes. Inside this double quotes add this value, and see, I'm able to find the element. It's also unique and giving me 1 by 1. It's our relative XPath, where we didn't use any div or any other parent element, attribute or tag here. Relative XPath are always preferred as they are not the complete path, and it doesn't change frequently. Let's locate it. Copy this one, go to the PyCharm, add a variable here, find element by relative XPath equals to self dot driver dot find element by XPath, add single quotes, and then add relative XPath here. I'm gonna write condition here. If I'm gonna add condition here, if find element by relative XPath is not none, then print able to find element by relative XPath. And let's run this code. And see, it's working fine, and both the statements have been printed out here. Able to find element by using absolute XPath, and able to find element by using relative XPath. So it's working fine. Here I have added let's see, here I have added a tag name. You can add star here instead of this tag name, which means any tag, and then write selector here. If page has same attributes but different tags, then this star will create issue. In this case, you need to write tag name explicitly instead of this star. This star, this is a wildcard basically, and it will pick the tag, and then it will pick any tag which has this selector. So selector should be unique. Okay, let's write it in the code. Copy it, and write it here. Here I have added a star instead of this tag name, and rerun this code. And see, it's working fine. That's about it. Thanks for running this one, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.